Champions League is shaky at best for a lot of big clubs. A lot of big clubs missing out. A lot of big clubs got to prove their mettle. We're going to talk about that. Patrick Dorgu, we got some pros, we got some cons. We are going to be talking about that today. Obviously, Dylan is here. We are going to be chatting about the Arsenal match as well and get some of his thoughts and talk about that. But the big talk tonight is Michael Carrick, permanent manager job. Has he done enough? What would he need to do? I put out a poll on YouTube to get your guys' thoughts as well. We're going to chat all about Michael Carrick tonight and what would he have to do to get that job over somebody else like a Tuchel, like an Enrique, or whoever else you guys might have on your list. That's what we're going to dive into tonight. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Dylan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Hopefully, everybody is enjoying this Wednesday in the Kickabout today. Um, it's cold here.
Oh, true.
Sean and I were just talking about that here in the Midwest, but we're doing it. We were talking about watching the Champions League, some excitement there, and yeah, I'm still buzzing after the Arsenal win. So
We're all still buzzing after the Arsenal win, Bill. Everybody's buzzing, but you guys, this is United versus Everybody. As you guys know, this is the weekly Kickabout where Dylan and I kind of just chit chat about the United goings-ons from the last week or so, and just share our thoughts. It's pretty chill. If you guys have been around for a while, you get that. If you're new, please subscribe. We are on the road to 3K. If you are not new, welcome back. Please make sure you all are hitting that like button for me. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk a little bit first and foremost about this Champions League round. This was obviously the final match week of the final round of the league phase, which is still hard for me to say that and not the group stage. It's really weird to talk about
I
that way.
always say group stage. I do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really weird, but obviously you were watching some. I was watching some of it. A lot of interesting results, a lot of interesting kind of table places right now. So top eight are locked in already, right? And so the top eight are Arsenal, Bayern, Liverpool, Spurs, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting, and then City managed to scrape by in eighth place. So they've just peeped into the top eight. So interesting little top. Are there any surprises for the top eight for you? Teams that you thought maybe wouldn't make it this year?
I didn't think Spurs would make top eight. I thought they'd definitely be like 10, 15. In fact, that they apparently shit the bed in the league and then show up for Champions League is
Well, it, it,
weird.
it definitely goes along with what I was saying last year with this new league phase because five of the eight teams are English teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw last year two English teams made it to the Europa League final. Who was in Champions League final last year? I don't even remember now. Seems like so long ago.
It
It was
was
PSG,
PSG and Inter.
Inter. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Inter was shit. So yeah, English teams tend to do a little better in Europe because they do tend to be more physical than the other European opposition, and that's just the way it goes. And so yeah, five of eight of these Champions League round eight top eight or English teams. Interesting. The playoff rounds got super interesting. So the teams that did not qualify automatically and have to play another round are Real Madrid, Inter, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Newcastle are in there. Dortmund, they all miss out. These are traditionally like the clubs that you'd expect to go through to the next
Mm-hmm.
round and stuff, at least make it out of the group stage. And now they are not. They're not. Then they got to play them, and and some of these teams might not even get into it from now on.
Yep.
That's interesting. I did not. I mean, Real Madrid got just absolutely hammered today by Benfica. Like,
And let's just take a second just for Benfica. What a masterclass by Jose to send the goalkeeper. I'm sure
well,
he
they got
totally
like
planned for
two.
that.
Madrid got two red cards. He went down to
Mhm.
9 men. I saw. I didn't watch that one.
Mhm.
Shelderup, who I scouted way back, not on the channel. I scouted him long before I was on the channel. Shelderup played and he got a couple of goals. Say Pavlidis, who I have spoken about on the channel, got a goal. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was a Jose Mourinho masterclass
Yep.
today, if you can call it that.
I found it so funny because I watched the Napoli match so I could tell any Chelsea fans to get fucked because I was really hoping Napoli would win and then they just shit the bed. But
Yeah, Napoli. I don't know what happened with Napoli, man. They are Antonio Conte didn't look too happy on the touchline.
no, It,
Liverpool putting 6 past Karabag, who I mean,
oh
I guess if they can only play them every week, they'd be fine, right? But
yeah, did Verts finally get a goal or?
I think he did actually. He did get himself a
Okay,
goal, so now he's in Europe. He's like the Hoyland of
yeah,
Liverpool, basically. Just in Europe, he's an absolute machine, but in the league, just
yeah.
literally goes missing. So hey, money well spent, I guess, right? Liam Rose Senior off to a nice little start in his Chelsea
Mhm.
career. So Napoli
I,
out automatically.
yep.
Benfica out. Bilbao
Nope,
out. So
Benfica made it.
oh, did they really?
They
Hold up,
snuck in on goal difference.
hold up.
24th place.
24th place. Oh, they did sneak in. You're absolutely. Ooh, and Bodo Glimt snuck in too. Well done,
Hmm.
Bodo Glimt. Shout out
Yes.
Jarvis. Well done. Um, nicely done, Bodo Glimt. I like to see that. Um, the new format. How do you feel about it? We're second year into it. It's really, really, really hit or miss on some of these big clubs
Yeah.
making it or not. I mean, and again, the reason why we all railed against the Super League is because it needs to be on sporting performance merit, right? Not just whatever sense of entitlement. So probably not ideal for some of these big clubs. They are missing out, right? How do you feel about the league phase?
Some of the matches are all right. I mean, it gives for clubs that um, are getting used to European competition or just in general might need the cash. It helps them with like two extra matches, specifically that one extra home match they would get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I miss the group stage. I miss going down. I missed match week 6 or for the Champions League when we had the group stages. And once you'd have a couple of them that would be done and dusted, but then you'd get those groups that were all like first has 7 points and the other ones have 6, and you never know who was going to do what. And that last team could play spoiler. I mean that team about that was more fun, at least to me.
Yeah, and it's so. I mean, yes, financially it's good. Two extra matches. I mean, one of them is probably going to be a home. Is nice. I don't like it because I always rated the league higher than the Champions League, right? Just for the simple reason, if you don't have to play every team in the Champions League to even get to a final. Good draws, whatever, can literally help you or hurt you depending on the draws. And this is kind of bringing that to the fore. And you don't even get to the next phase by having to play everybody. Like in the group stage, you got to play everybody in your group twice. This one, you
Mhm.
don't even have to play everybody in the league. Which cool, you've got more matches, you've got more teams in there, and so I think that they want everyone to think that they're trying to be like fair and there's equity, but it just doesn't. It doesn't really feel
Yeah.
like it, to be honest. I'm with you. I'm not a super big fan of it, but doubt that it's going to change anytime soon because they're not going to do all this trouble and put all this work into introduce this new format and then turn around and scrap it. I wish they would. I think there's nothing wrong with turning around and saying, "Ah, this sucks," but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But let us know in the chat how you feel about Champions League. Any surprises? Who are you? Who is your dark horse? What does the next round look like? By the way,
Oh, I just had that pulled up. Oh, here it is. So we have the play-in or for the playoffs. We have Real Madrid or Inter Milan versus Benfica or Bodo Glimt. That'll be fun.
mm.
PSG or Newcastle versus Monaco or Karabag. Juve, right? Juve or Atletico Madrid versus Galatasaray or Bruges. And then Atalanta or Leverkusen versus Dortmund or Olympiacos. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Fun. I think
Who knows
YouTube
how
is
that's going to
like being weird tonight. Because I'm looking. I just brought
be?
up the stream and I don't see any. Like it won't even load for me on my
Oh,
phone. But interesting.
we just got one.
Oh hey man, what's up,
Yeah.
Red
What
Devil?
up?
What's up? Champions League matches
What
were
up?
off the chart. Yeah, they were. Some of them were pretty interesting tonight. It seemed like I was
Mhm.
watching the. So I wasn't watching any one match tonight. I was watching the Golazo thing on Paramount Plus. So basically it's the studio just jumping around whenever something interesting happens in one of the matches. But it seemed like they were jumping around a lot. So there must have been a lot going on tonight. But big up, Red Devil. Welcome back. Good to see you. Um, yeah, it was an interesting little Champions League night. Dark horses. Anybody who you have any early predictions for who might go all the way? What kind of final we might see?
I don't. I mean, as much as everybody's saying Arsenal are looking like, oh, they're going to be world beaters, we've seen them crack.
Yeah,
And they, let's be honest, a couple of their matches, they didn't necessarily have. I think they played Karat today.
yeah.
Come on.
And
Just,
they conceded two, but
yeah,
this is a thing. Arsenal had a completely different 11 than what they had at the
yeah,
weekend, so they can do
yeah,
that against at home
yeah,
to Karat Almaty.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's. I mean, that was literally the. So they've conceded 4 goals this whole league phase, I think, and that was half of it right there. It was
Mhm.
just this one match today, so I don't think they'll care. But
No, I, I, so we'll see what happens. I'm not totally. I'm gonna have to see kind of what the next phase goes, the round of 16 when we get to that, just to see who's starting to round into form because it felt like a lot of the English teams are a little off right now. Real
mm,
Madrid's off. Um, Barcelona are probably the one I would think would kick it on just because they did so well to start with.
yeah.
Um, but I like what Red Devil here says with Bodo. I'd love to see Bodo Glimp like upset somebody for the next round.
I mean, they've already upset City, and today they upset Atletico, I believe it
Mhm.
was. So, Bodo Glimt, man, don't sleep on Bodo. They've got some good players there. I wouldn't mind if they had missed out on this top 8 or the top 24, whatever. They have a couple players I would have maybe liked to go and snatch up. And with the last couple days of this transfer, like Patrick Berg, who I've scouted on the channel, is the like almost like this, like the Christian Eriksen kind of style, like the guy who's going to maybe come and rotate with Covey as a deep line playmaker kind of guy. He's an older player. He's like 27, 28, really good player for Bodo. So, um, would have liked it. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't think of anyone who I'm automatically going to, maybe Bayern. I think maybe this could be Bayern's time. I can't, the cognitive dissonance can't say Arsenal. I just can't do it. So, but you never know. Maybe PSG can come back because PSG is just, yeah, we'll
Mm-hmm.
see. Obviously, we will be keeping
Well,
an eye on it. But
PSG have a challenger this year because Lens is 2 points behind them in the League One.
thanks
So
to Mamadou Sangare, who we've scouted on this channel a couple of times. If you want to learn a little bit more about Mamadou Sangare and a couple other midfielders that I think we should be looking at, there is a link down below in the description. Don't do it now. Wait till after the video. That's rude. But Casemiro replacements. I went through 5 on top of the ones we've already spoken about in the Premier League and whatnot. Go check them out if you guys want to look at. I've got another one today though that I'll get to in a second here, because there's a team that did not qualify at all for the next round of Champions League that has a player that is kind of going under the radar that I really, really like, and that is Hugo Larson, who plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. He is an absolute class midfielder. He's just one of those all around midfielders. He's very young still, but very, very good. I think that is definitely a player that United could be looking at. He's not in Champions League anymore. Again, couple days left of the transfer window, guys. Let's go and get it done, please. So,
hey,
um,
United, I know you watch the show because you look
yeah, right.
at Sean's scouting reports. He's your de facto director of football. We need a midfielder.
We need a midfielder. We might need a left winger here
Yeah,
as well, because while this happened, yeah, just today, by the way, shout out Patty Dorgu picking up that. Um, so while that happened, so this also happened, which
yeah.
is all sorts of a bummer after
Mhm.
obviously the performances he's had, especially this week and against Arsenal, and now this. Like, so
Yeah.
he
It,
obviously you guys are probably speaking about it. Go ahead, Dill.
I saw that happen too, and I was like, oh, he's just cramping. And I
Yeah,
was like, oh, it's fine. And I remember now that I see that picture, the announcer said it too. And I didn't remember it when we were talking about it earlier, and I was talking to Jeff about it. And then now I see this, I was like, oh, I didn't think it was anything, and that sucks because he was on a tear.
yeah, it
Oh,
sucks. I mean, Michael Carrick even said after the match, like he thought it wasn't serious. It looked like cramp, but obviously we would need to see. And the news was about as bad as it could get. Reportedly out for pretty much the next few months after scans confirmed he did
yeah,
his hamstring. This is the, and I got to preface this because it's going to sound like I'm blaming Dorgu. I'm not blaming Dorgu, but this is, not only is this the double-edged sword with a sport that is literally 100% running, putting so much more strain on your body and your legs than any other situation in life, but this is the double-edged sword of being high intensity, high energy player and playing like a high press, like the full 90 minutes late on in the match. This is the kind of stuff that you will start to see happen more and more frequently, is that players are going to pick up these kind of things. I can't tell you how many times. I think I can't remember if it was Rashford or Jesse Lingard, probably about 6-7 years ago. It was like late on. It was probably, I think it was under Jose, and like Lingard is literally sprinting the entire length of the pitch to go close down like a keeper the opposition keeper who's just trying to kick a goal kick because he just doesn't want to let him get the goal kick off. And I'm like, what are you doing? And sure enough, I'm pretty sure he pulled up with some sort of a strain or something in that match. And I'm like, you can't do that kind of stuff late on in the match, dude. Like I said, it's not Dorgu's fault. It is a dice roll, though. You never know. You can't plan for these things. Hamstrings are the most commonly occurring sports injury. It's just part and parcel for the course here.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, it is such a blow because he's been really under Carrick. It's just he's like the focal point almost. He's like Carrick's guy on that left wing. And like you said, he was on a great run of form these last couple matches. But so it's February and March. So that's next 2 months minimum, most likely. Maybe 2.5 months. We'll see. We just can't have nice things, can we?
No.
It just seems like
2 wins. We're living the dream.
Yeah. It was all vibes, and then of course we just had to come crashing back down to reality. Interesting to see how Carrick responds to this. Obviously, like I said, Dorgu's like his main guy on the left hand side. I'm sure Lacy will be back in the squad to bring up a spot on the wing. Do you see Cunha moving to the left? Do you see maybe Ahmad moving to the left, Cunha staying as a sub? What do you think Carrick might do to respond to this?
He might. It depends on what he's going to look for, because if they're going to be more defensive and kind of try to, or at least try to press things, be more aggressive on that particular side. As much as he doesn't fit as well, I think he almost might play Mount just to keep the intensity up. And you don't even have to play him the whole time. Maybe he gets 45 minutes and you just say, just press, and then you throw Cunha on, or vice versa. Maybe you're right. Maybe they switch over to Ahmad on the left and they put maybe Mbumo down on the right wing and put Shesko up top. I don't know.
If it were me, I would just be starting Cunha and I'd put Cunha on the left. I wouldn't change too much else. I would just put Cunha and I would just start Cunha. I think that he and Dorgu are very similar. They both can track back and get involved. They're both very physical. They're very high energy, high intensity. They both can pick up the ball in our half and beat a man or two to get it into the opposition half as well. And I do think that Carrick, what he's done with Cunha, I mean, I was a little worried to start, obviously, but then Cunha's come on as a sub these last 2 matches and done very, very well. And so maybe there's Fergie used to do this kind of stuff all the time, keeping players hungry, managing the minutes, kind of getting them angry a little bit to kind of bring them on with a chip on their shoulder and an axe to grind. And you get something out of them that way. Sometimes that is the difference between that extra like 4 or 5% from a player, is just maybe tapping into some of that anger and that frustration a little bit. And he's got that Brazilian fire. But we'll see. I mean, I could very easily see Shesko staying on the bench but we'll see. I think it could also depend on the opposition too, because Fulham are not going to play the way Arsenal play, the way City play. They are going to sit back, and so you're not going to have space. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add this into Fulham. They just loaned out Adama Traore too, so they're not necessarily going to have the same amount of speed on the wing. So we may go Shesko on that just for.
I've never worried about Adama Traore in my life.
Oh no, he can't hit the broadside of a barn, but the speed is always something to worry about.
He is just he's like a hulked out version of Timo Werner, man. He's just all pace, no final product, man. It's just that's all he's got. So, and that's just, I mean, he's big for no reason. He's like the kind of guys you see that do CrossFit, but they work at like IT for T-Mobile or something. Like, what are you just sitting there with a little headset on, like ripped AF, like behind a desk? Like, why are you doing this? Red Devil says he's feel bad. Dorgu's going to miss the World Cup playoffs. He is back. He'll miss the playoffs, which is probably fine. But Denmark they're in the World Cup. I haven't looked at the the groups in a while, right?
I think Scotland beat them to the automatic qualifiers. I think they have to
Oh,
go through the
okay.
playoff. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so that is a bit of a bummer. Obviously, I don't get too hyped up about international football. I'll watch World Cup. I'll watch the Euros. Um, but that's about it. Obviously, being American, we don't really have much to root for. But we will be rooting, even though the World Cup this summer is just also it's just starting off on a corrupt foot, man. I'm telling you, we already kind of knew it. But um, serious question though about Dorgu being out. Serious question, you guys. I want you to really be mature about this. All right. If Dorgu is out for the next 2 months, does he still finish the season with a higher GA than Florian Wirtz? It's a very serious question.
I I want to say yes because Verts really hasn't done much, but he just needs to like make a couple of goals and he gets on a run, gets a few assists, and Dorgu can't add to his tally during that time.
I mean, it's not like
I don't know.
Wirtz is adding to his tally anytime
That's
soon in the
true.
league. So
Uh,
I told you it was a very serious
it
question. These are kind of
yeah.
questions that keep me up at night, you guys. So just telling you. Speaking of Shay Lacy maybe getting a chance in the squad, he did this on Monday. Let me play this for you guys. So the under 18s played Brighton and they won 2-1. But he decided to do one of these numbers and just put that in.
That was
um,
filthy.
yeah, he didn't.
Oh,
Oops, sorry, I got in the way. My bad, guys. Um, like through the gap, bottom corner, which is incredibly difficult for the keeper to get to. By we'll watch it one more time.
oh.
Yeah, incredibly difficult for keepers to get down low to that one.
This went from
Um,
6 to 12 watching that. Jeez.
yeah, obviously he was suspended for a recent
Mhm.
match, so he will be back though. Hopefully, probably back in the squad for the next match with Dorgu being out because we
Mhm.
don't have many wingers, unfortunately. So
Well, and we saw him with the was it the FA Cup match where he I don't remember exactly. Remember he came on and he turned the whole thing around. He
yeah,
basically just went out there and said, "Yeah, I'm going to just shoot," and he almost scored twice, hit the woodwork twice, and brought some energy to that wing. So
yeah, and I think he's
I'd love to
dialing it
see him
in.
out there.
He's dialing it in. I think he's come on. He's stung some palms on some keepers. He's rattled the crossbar. He looks lively. Obviously, he's still very young. I'm not putting any sort of expectations on him whatsoever. It would literally anything he does that goes well would literally only be a bonus. But it's about minutes. It's
Mm-hmm.
about seeing how he handles first team opportunities, and it's about grabbing those opportunities and giving a point. That could be the difference between us having to go out and spend a lot of money in the summer on a left winger or something. Although we do have a lot of right wingers because we have literally 3 right wingers who are left footed, and then we've got Dorgu on the left side. So we need someone who plays on the left who can and ideally he's good with both feet, but ideally he's a player who cuts in onto his right. We had a couple of those. We sold them all in the summer. So it is what it is, though. Um,
Still don't think it was a bad decision to do that.
No, I didn't say it was a bad decision. It's just funny how it works out, man.
Yeah.
Because I've spent the last
Mhm.
year and a half almost scouting wingbacks and all around midfielders because of Amorim's system, and now it's likely not going to be that system anymore. And so now everything is thrown out the window. And now I have to look at fullbacks. Now I have to look at wingers and
Mhm.
stuff. So it's thank you a lot, guys. What are you guys doing out here? Um, Red Devil says Verts has been terrible. Yeah, Dorgu. I told you guys Dorgu last year. Not to go too soon on him. There's so many people, so many United fans writing him off after a couple weeks already. And I told you guys he's 20. Give him some time. Let him get used to things. He's got a lot of stuff that you cannot teach. He'll polish off the other stuff under good coaching. And now we're seeing it that he's looks really good. Where do you think Dorgu's best position is, Dylan?
As of right now, I'd love wing.
Yeah.
Plus, he adds a little bit to that left side because he also can play defensively. Like if Shaw goes into attack because he's our de facto left winger right now. If Shaw goes into attack is too far out, Dorgu can get back. He can track
Yeah.
back and play defensively there. So I think that helps him specifically.
I still, for some reason, I still prefer him as a left back. I think that, so he was a left back at Lecce. The last season, the first half of the season, he was playing right wing for them quite a bit, but he is still naturally a left back. And I think I prefer him there. I think as a more of an attack minded, ball carrying left back who does get stuck in, who does put in a good fight and stuff. I think I like him there better. But it's not up to me, is it? Our devil says, "Hope Lamens doesn't get injured." Why are you putting that evil out there, man?
Well, no, we put it out there that United watches this program, so they're taking that into account. So
We'll see what happens. Speaking of attacking players, these, I mean, I know it's been, like you said earlier, that it's been kind of rubbish, but the Cole Palmer chatter is not going away anytime soon. I don't know why. I've only really seen it kind of put out there by Samuel Butthurts. I haven't really seen anybody else talking about it other than people quoting Samuel Butthurts. Um, lots of United fans would love to have Cole Palmer opposite. You were telling me before we went live that Rose Senior's kind of rubbished it, right? I don't know what did Rose Senior say?
in his press conference before, or in his discussion before the match, he said any of those reports about Cole Palmer being unhappy at Chelsea or wanting to go to United are rubbish. He loves it here. This is just journos trying to stir up trouble. So who knows? I didn't get to watch. I just kind of read about it. So he might just be trying to, deflect that it's actually a problem, or he's just 100% speaking through that and say, or trying to deflect from that and not bring any more unwanted attention to it at this point in time.
He didn't turn it into like a funny like wordplay or a pun or anything, like his like man ager or anything.
And no,
No, what a weirdo.
not that I saw.
What a weirdo, man.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Cole Palmer? Because I have thoughts. My thoughts. I mean, you guys all know my thoughts. What are your thoughts, though, Dylan? What are your guys' thoughts in the chat too? Let us know.
Well, he's quite the player. He gives me a little bit of playmaker Bruno vibes. Not as doesn't have the flair, doesn't necessarily have the polish, but he can make things happen. And we've seen it with when Chelsea have played us, when Chelsea have played another against other teams. However, we talked about this beforehand. He's got that worrying thing where he picks up injuries pretty regularly, and we were talking about, gives me Luke Shaw vibes a little bit, or somewhat Mason Mount vibes. Like he'd probably come over here and get injured, and then he'd be out for 2 months, and then he'd play for a few games and get injured.
Yeah,
and that's
he's got.
So I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's got this groin issue that just won't go away. And as someone who's had a groin issue myself, it doesn't really go away, and it impacts everything that you're trying to do. When you're pushing off, when you're changing directions. For me, when I notice it in when I'm taking like free kicks or something, because it impacts my kicking leg shape as I kick the ball. My kicking leg is just a little bit tighter. I can't really open it as much as I used to, so I'm not getting enough of my foot around the ball. And what that does, I have to compensate for it here and there. And I notice it the longer I play on a given day. But it impacts a lot of that stuff, your follow through and stuff. So I'm not getting as much power as I used to get, and I notice it. And it's not going away for him. He's very injury prone. He's missed a lot of matches recently. He is a bit of a purple patch player, in my opinion. He went on a really long run late last year where he was no goal involvements whatsoever. He's very hit or miss in that regard. He would be extremely expensive, for that matter, and he's a redundant position because we've got 3 players off the top of my head who will play the position that he plays. That's Bruno, that's Mount, and Cunha if you need Cunha to play there as well. Does not, to me, make sense to go and get Cole Palmer. It's like when I saw us linked with Ilman Njai today. Like, I don't believe the rumors, but it's why? Like, we don't need another attacking player. We need 2 midfielders minimum, a fullback, and maybe another striker. But I don't think that. Cole Palmer is a no for me personally. Well, we got the crew in here. What's going on? Tim's in the house. Said I'd take him in a heartbeat if he was gettable. He has Stardust. I mean, and that's what someone said the other day. I was on Jarvis's channel in the chat. They were talking about Cole Palmer. And someone was like, he's like class, but I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're injured. It does not matter whatsoever if that groin injury recurs and you can't play. Like then you're just sitting on the bench. I mean, yes, he's a childhood United fan. Who isn't? But um, I'm like, it doesn't matter. And maybe I'm in a minority, Dylan. You can agree or disagree. Like, but I'm as a United fan after all the injury prone players we've had through. Anytime I look up a player and I see how many injuries or the same injuries or the nature of injuries, it's like buying a house when and there's a house that has a pool. Like I just keep on walking. I don't even bother with it because I know I'm weird. I don't want pools. It's a lot of work. I don't feel like it. But I move right past. And there's a big reason why I didn't want Nuno Menj in the summer and stuff. And yes, he's been fine, but again, it's a dice roll that I don't want to take. So maybe
Yeah,
I'm in the minority. I don't know. You let me know.
okay. It's going to depend for me. Just can he work through these injuries? Because great player. He's fun to watch um, when I'm not hate watching, and uh, but it's I'm a little gun shy here. Anytime we have injuries, because those have hurt us in the past, and if we bring in a player that has a history of injuries, how much is that going to affect things? And
Yeah.
the chat's right. Injuries happen. You can work through those, but still, it just gives me pause, just because we've seen everything with Mason Mount getting hurt, with Luke Shaw getting hurt, with Dorgu getting hurt. Now that was more of an in-game thing, but still, it always gives me pause.
And this is the thing. It's so funny, the United fans who will say, yes, sign him up. But then these are the same ones who were complaining, like, why didn't we do a better job scouting Mason Mount's injuries ahead of time? Why did we do more research? Like, the research is there. I'm giving you the research from Cole Palmer. The reason Cole Palmer's injuries got so bad as well, and it's funny that we're bringing it up because I just read on LinkedIn 2 days ago a big long article about Cole Palmer's injury. It's been completely mismanaged by Chelsea since it started, and that has exacerbated the injury itself. It just wasn't taken care of properly, and so again, not something I want to take a dice roll on.
Hey, did they hire our physios that we got rid of? Is that what happened?
Dr. Dre, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Seuss. Yep, I think I saw him rolling around
Yeah.
back there. Red Devil says injuries heal. Yes. Do they ever go away? Nothing ever goes away. Well, it's not necessarily the injury itself, like because you can get like an injury in like a sprain. You could sprain your ankle, and that might never be an issue again. Hamstrings don't tend to go away. The groin thing, especially when the groin stuff is mismanaged, like it has been in Cole Palmer's case, that will be a problem. And it's not a problem given the amount of money he's going to cost, the redundancy, the purple patch player that he is, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying, does it matter if you've got Stardust if you're going on these long stretches where you're not really contributing anything? That is not, it's not something that I think we need right now.
Hey, if all else fails and they want to get rid of him, I mean, we paid. They gave us cheap money for Garnacho, so like I think they owe us. We could pay like 20 for him.
They're probably thinking that we pulled their pants down for Garnacho at this point. Shit, man. Did he play today? I didn't even see. I didn't watch the game. So
Yeah, he went on, but he didn't. He didn't score.
gotcha.
Pedro got two. So
Nice. Big up, Danny. Big up. Yes, please do hit that like button, you guys. We're just chatting a little bit about some of the news. We talked a little bit about Champions League now and surprises and some big upsets today, and then talked a little bit about Dorgu already. What did we do? I showed you Shay Lacy's free kick goal from against Brighton earlier. Tim says as a longer term Bruno replacement. I mean, again, yeah, if Bruno is leaving, that would be where he would play. But with the injuries, that's a problem. Um, I don't have a problem moving Cunha into that 10 role personally and maybe prioritizing a winger. You could do a lot of things in the summer. Big up Bex, he's in the house. As Cole Palmer doesn't excite me anymore. All in all, he's just good at the moment. Yeah, I mean, and is he good right now? He's not having a great season, is he?
I don't know. I
Bex
haven't been paying attention to him.
yeah, I don't watch Chelsea. That club is a shit show. Bexy says, feel like it's more than homesick as well. Clearly, his agent is touching base with clubs, probably wants more money. Yeah, and I'm done with that kind of nonsense too, man. I'm done. Tim says I saw the Benfica goalkeeper score in the last second. Jose masterclass, man.
Yep. I knew I did something wrong when I had 3 friends text me, "Oh my gosh, did you see that?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, I was watching the Napoli game, and all of them went. You made a poor decision.
Yeah, I had the Golazo going, so it was just every time something was happening, it would show it on the thing. So, but I'm never doing the Golazo again, by the way, because then I got to sit here and listen to Micah Richards and Shay Carrick for like 90 minutes as opposed to just halftime. So I'm not doing that ever again. Oh, I didn't realize how absolutely insufferable those two were to listen to for 90 minutes straight. It was awful. Chad Sports, big up, man. Says Palmer is no Bruno. Good player, but Bruno, yeah, Bruno is definitely ahead of his own. You're never going to replace Bruno. So it's about trying to figure out the way we want to play and what profile suits us. I like Cunha in that role personally. If Bruno were to leave, I think that as like that Gibbs White kind of Morgan Rogers kind of 10, who's basically almost like Rooney, like a second striker, as
Mhm.
as opposed to a straight up playmaker. I think I like that a little better personally, but that's just me.
I can get behind
Bexy
that.
Bexy says Fulham be a good measuring stick at the weekend. Yeah, we'll be previewing the
100%.
Fulham match a little
100%.
later on. Yeah, because that's going to be a big thing for me for Michael Carrick, and we're going to talk about Michael Carrick tonight. So that's
Yep.
what we're here
Same
for.
here.
Um, but yeah, Cole Palmer, Dylan, yay or nay?
Right now, no.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Talk to me in 2 or 3 months. I might change my tune. But right now, no. Injuries are too make me too hesitant.
If Bruno leaves, I might become a little desperate, but I don't know if I'm that quite. I think there are better play, or not. I would say better play. I think there's other players out there that I think can do a good job there too. So we'll keep in mind. We'll obviously I'll be watching the relegation sides as well, to see what goes on there, because like if West Ham go down or like Burnley go down, I can go get like someone like Krupi or someone like Somerville can come in as well. So
Spurs might go down.
yeah, I mean that would be hilarious if Spurs got what would happen if Spurs won Champions League and got relegated from the league at the same time? That would be
That'd be
hilarious.
hilarious.
Has that ever happened before? Someone tell me my history of it. Has a team ever got relegated from one of their leagues but also won the Champions League in the same season? That would be
Not so.
hilarious.
I do know something about that.
Okay, hit me with a
So I
history
don't
teacher.
remember exactly which team. Don't remember exactly which team, but somebody in the English uh, Premier League, or not the Premier League, in the no, it was the Premier League. Somebody won the FA Cup. It was one of the lower teams, and they got relegated that year. And they played European football
Nice.
in. I don't think they made it out of the qualifiers, but they
Still,
played
that's
European
awesome.
football in the championship.
That's
I got to
awesome.
look this up now. Hold
I
on.
love that. Yeah, Dylan's gonna go do some research. Agile B's back in the house. Big up, Agile says it's a no. Yeah, if you had to ask me right now, I'd say no. Because I think there's other players. Like I'm more of a I would go get like Mateus Fernandes or like who's the kid at Wolves, the young kid now. I forget his name now off the top of my head. Someone like that, who maybe would come in and play a couple different roles personally, but. Big up. Chat Sports says take Bowen. You guys know I would take Bowen in a heartbeat, but I'd play him as like a mobile striker option, a little different profile of a striker to Shesko. Maybe play a front two a little bit. Agile says, I think it was Wigan and the Europa League UEFA Cup. That's what Agile Beast is going with. Did you find it yet, though? Yeah,
I want to
they say it's Wigan.
Wigan. I thought it was Wigan, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to make
You guys beat them.
a
Well
silly
done.
assumption. So
Well
good
done to
job.
everybody who got involved there. You guys get a little golf clap for that one. So yeah, it's definitely a no from me on Cole Palmer personally. But hey, feel free to disagree, everybody. It is your prerogative. Bexy says Spurs could be in trouble this season. They very could be in trouble, man.
Yeah.
That's funny. Who went on a trip out here? Someone go on a trip? Nice. Where'd you go? Whoever went on the trip, let me know where you went. As we said earlier, just a couple days left in the transfer window. We've got some injuries. We've got some priority positions. Again, I added another name to my list for Casemiro replacements at the start of the show, simply because of the fact that Frankfurt are out of the Champions League altogether, and Hugo Larsson has been at that club for far too long, and so I wouldn't mind putting in a cheeky bid for Hugo Larsson with a couple days left of the transfer window. I wouldn't even mind doing it in the summer. He's very young. I think he's only 22, 23 years old. Excellent, excellent midfielder. Has been at that club far too long, in my opinion. We need to go liberate Hugo Larsson from Eintracht Frankfurt. Big up, Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see you. Um, if anybody watched my Casemiro replacement video from the other day, if you have your own suggestions, let me know or let me know if you found out about anybody in that video that you weren't quite aware of already. Becky says getting Anderson to be huge. Anderson's my top choice. Like,
Yeah, mine too.
plain and simple. Get
Well,
Anderson. Spend big money to get Anderson.
We talked about that when we did the Nottingham Forest reaction.
Yeah,
we were both like, he passed the audition with flying colors.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. We're going to talk a little about this Arsenal match because Dylan and I haven't had a chance to chat about it a little bit. Dylan, thoughts on the Arsenal match? What did you like? What didn't you like? Just what are some of your big takeaways from what you saw in that match? It's very similar to City, I thought, but I want to know what your thoughts were.
So, not necessarily a big thing. Just one of the things that I was concerned about was how we would handle the set pieces and the corners and things like that. We did all right. I think you could definitely see Arsenal getting desperate at the end, like knowing whenever they had one.
What can you do though? Hold on. What can you do against defending these set pieces when literally they're allowed to foul every player in the box and it never gets called? Like, what can you do against that? Like, refs have to start calling that shit, man. It's annoying.
Yeah. And it seems like we talked about this before. I forget for last year, I think, with something with Onana. But the keeper has a right to come out and get the ball. And the whole time, that goal that Arsenal scored, the second one, Lammens tried to come out and he missed it because he's getting pushed back by the scrum. And so now it's like, I don't know. I don't know how you would enforce that. I know that didn't sit right with me. I don't mind if they're close, but I don't think you should be right on top of the goalkeeper. That seems.
It's just like cynical foul or something. You don't have to get super strict. Just call it the first couple times you see it and just let them know, like, we're not doing that today. And then they'll stop. And if they keep doing it, then you just keep calling it. But usually all the refs have to do is call that stuff once or twice to start the match when they see it happening. Mm-hmm. And the refs have the opportunity to kind of set down like a marker for what they're going to let go and stuff. The refs don't want to give cards. They want to keep, 22 players on the pitch. But the refs also, I think, do have to be a little bit more just assertive when it comes to just drawing a line in the sand on that kind of shit. Because what Arsenal have got, I mean, the only reason they beat us to start the season, even though we were by far the better side, was because of a foul on endear on that corner. Like, it shouldn't have stood. We saw a goal against Burnley on a set piece get chalked off for 100 times less contact than that on Kyle diving his ass to the floor. Walker, man, it's absolutely ridiculous, dude. Bexy says we need to get next season Anderson, keep Bruno. They challenge for the title. Yeah, I think Anderson, someone like that, even in the beginning of January, could have been the difference between FA Cup next round and stuff, man. This club, man, sometimes. Franklin, big up Franklin, says talk too much. Are you talking about me? Are you talking about Arsenal fans? Because I agree. Maybe you're talking about Dylan. Dylan, you going to take that?
I talk way too much. I'm sorry, guys. I'll shut up.
I mean, what would you rather we just sit here in silence?
Yeah.
We could do that. Kai says, what would United do if to keep Bruno happy, you must kick Carrick out and bring us Luis Enrique, for example? I mean, it's interesting. We're going to be talking about Carrick here in a second as well. But so in order to keep Bruno happy, and now that you're making him sound a little like Mbappe or Ronaldo now. If this were like 3 years ago, we could have a little longer conversation about that. But Bruno's 31 now, not exactly as if we can build around him in the future. I would still keep him, but I would also sell him too, so I could go either way. Bexy says Arsenal fans have been terrible to Arteta. Arteta's been terrible to football this season. He's been the way that they're winning these matches. When own goal is your third top scorer in the league, like, come on, What are you here? Like I want Arsenal fans to get own goal on the back of their shirts from now on, man. He's a hell of a player. Own goal. Chat Sports says Florentino at Burnley. I feel like Florentino Luis has been around forever because he was at Benfica for the longest time. I forgot that Burnley picked him up. Honestly, he's one of those players that, like William Carvalho, reminds me of that, where I feel like he's been around forever, playing in Portugal forever. I like him. He's could be another one to replace Casemiro. I haven't watched a lot of Burnley, so I haven't really seen what he could do. Have you watched a lot of Burnley, Dylan? Do you know much
No,
about Florentino?
no, I'll watch them a little bit. Maybe
Yeah,
if they like, I watched them play Spurs because I was really hoping they beat Spurs. Um, but yeah, I watched like the last 15 minutes. I didn't really a lot. What stood out to me for Burnley was more Jaden Anthony. I thought he
yeah.
was a good player to come on. He'd be one if Burnley go down. I'd be like, hey, maybe
Yeah.
somebody to look at there. So
Well, maybe you can join me for my two players from each relegated side video later on in the season when we get more of a solid idea. Because I did that last year. Took two players from Leicester,
mhm.
Ipswich, and Southampton, I believe it was, right? So I'll do that again this year. We'll see. Um, but yeah, Arsenal obviously was interesting match. We started off. I thought we started off a little too passive. We gave them a little too much respect in
Yep.
our own box. I know we trusted ourselves to maybe be difficult to break down. Their movement was causing us some problems. I thought we got away with a couple of blocks and stuff here and there. And it wasn't, not once was I panicked. I was more upset that we weren't maybe being a little bit more direct, being a little bit more intense, being a little bit more physical, putting a little bit more pressure on them on the ball. That's what I was never panicked. I was just like, we can be better than this, but if we're not going to step it up a little bit, we're not gonna get anything from this game. Um,
We really weren't playing our game. We
no,
were letting them dictate a lot, and you could see there was belief in staying together, but there was hesitation in how they wanted to do that. Like
yeah,
they knew they needed to stay compact, but they weren't really sure what they needed to do after that. And they tried to get out, but Arsenal kept shutting it down. They were trying to watch too many. They were trying to watch the passing lanes because Arsenal was trying to get Saka going against Luke
yeah,
Shaw and and Dorgu. And once that goal went in, it was kind of like the guys just kind of said, "We're going to do what we can." The
yeah,
pressure went off a little bit, and you saw them get a little more relaxed. And Arsenal, you could feel the tension start to seep into Arsenal as the game went on.
yeah. Because once we kind of, like I said in my match reaction, I kind of felt like we were playing a little bit of rope a dope for a second there. Like we were just kind of letting them do their thing, letting them kind of wear themselves out, and then it was like we just hit them. We didn't, and we turned it on in the second half, which I said we needed to do. We did do some really good combinations play, like this. How we got
Mm-hmm.
ourselves out of this? This is like a 3-on-6 situation here,
That
and
was impressive.
we get the ball. This is right before Cunha's goal, so we get the ball through here with some really good one-touch play. Find Cunha, who turns and just rifles it from outside the box like an absolute
Mm-hmm.
boss. Um, so like we were playing some really, really good football. And it was very similar for Dorgu's goal too, the 1-2s we were playing. So we did really well to get through Arsenal's numbers, especially in those spaces. So obviously we came back to win that one. Very, very good. It's always nice to see Gabriel cry
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Can I just say I've rewatched the clips like 6 7 times now, and the point when Cunha's goal goes in, and the announcer's like, "Oh, what a strike!" And then he's running towards the corner flag, and the announcer goes, "And Arsenal players are falling to their knees." I was like, "Yes, get in there!" Oh, I love
Arsenal
just hearing that. Oh,
Arteta and Arsenal fans are the quintessential of tantrum like when things don't go their way. And like they're like, wait, that's not supposed to happen. We scored from a goal corner kick. We're supposed to win, right? Like we're at home. We're supposed to win. Like
yep,
no, you guys are not actually as great as you
yep.
guys just have got a lot of set piece goals.
Hmm.
Gabriel though,
And
I thought go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the fact that they've got, I was when you talked about the stats, because I think you posted something in the group chat or somebody did about like own goal being third for the Arsenal score sheet in the league, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, when they stop getting those corner goals, because they won't happen forever. They've been good, they've gotten good setup on that, but they're going to run into a dry spell. What happens? Are they going to be able to,
Yeah.
get those other bounces? And it's kind of like Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool started the season so well, 5 out of 5. Everybody's like, oh, can they keep it going? And no, the answer was no. So it's kind of how it seems to me for Arsenal.
Dude, Arsenal's corners are not even clever. They literally just push, pull, or just set picks. They'll either get behind you so you can't defend the ball at the back post, or they'll have people come from behind to stand in front of you to block you from defending at the front post. That's literally all they do, or they just hold you and just like keep you from going anywhere. It's not creative. I don't know why their set piece coach gets as much credit as he does, because there's literally nothing. There's nothing training ground about it. Like little kids who play basketball know how to set picks the way Arsenal do on set pieces. Like it's not difficult to do. They're just getting away with it because they're exploiting some sort of a loophole in the laws of the game that the refs aren't quite picking up on right now. So it makes, yes, I sound bitter, but I'm just pointing out the fact that yes, they score a lot of set piece goals. We're second for set piece goals, but we don't.
No,
But yeah,
we aim
Gabriel,
for
man,
Delict and Harry at the back post and just tell them do
yeah,
your thing.
Harry's gonna put it back in the box and someone's gonna get on the end of it. It's not that difficult.
Yep.
Gabriel, though, I mean, what a little bitch, man. He was. Did you watch the final whistle when the final whistle blew and he wouldn't shake Maguire's hand and he was throwing a little temper tantrum?
No, I didn't see that, but that
Oh
sounds
man,
about right.
I had the clip ready to go, but then it got removed, and I can't find it
Ah,
anywhere now. They must have removed it, but yeah, he was like had his hand like his head like in his shirt, and Maguire came and just like went to high five and he like slapped his hand away and it started getting all pushy with him, and everybody was getting it was all handbags and stuff, and I'm like, this is like what a little bitch, man. He's such a baby.
yeah.
You mentioned something a couple moments ago though, and that I have it in my notes here because you mentioned something that this Arsenal squad simply does not have, and that is belief. They I didn't see belief in them. The way they reacted to our winner was, or even our equalizer, even was the way that we used to react when we would concede a
Mm-hmm.
goal, when we struggled with belief, when we struggled with resilience, when we struggled with mentality. It's heads drop. It's people on the ground to their knees. They're looking around like, what do we do? Arteta doesn't have a clue. He brings on 4 subs, takes off his captain before the hour mark. Like, there's no belief there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no belief, and that is a mentality thing. That they just that's what separates winners, hey Minnie, from like the guys who bottle it every year. They're already hearing footsteps. I mean, City could very easily go on a tear and catch up, and then, dude, imagine if
Yep.
we finished above Arsenal. How hilarious would that be?
Love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's literally pants off for like 3 days at that point. If that happens, I don't care. Oh man, they will not be
Yeah.
pants
It's
strong enough to hold the erections.
uh, it's
Um,
it's going to be very interesting from right now because Arsenal haven't looked great the last few matches. They won the Champions League match. Okay, like we talked about at the beginning, it's not a big win. This weekend they play. Let me pull it up here. Um, uh, they play Leeds. Leeds have something to fight for.
yeah,
So how are they going to respond? Like they should win. Arsenal should win.
yeah,
But
we'll see.
just as we talked about, they have let the other teams stay in it. They City could go on a run. Villa could maintain their form and be right there with them. I don't think it's going to happen, but they could.
Villa have too
Um,
many injuries now. I feel like
yeah,
they've lost a lot of players to
yeah,
injury now. Villa.
yeah.
You might see them start dropping slowly down the table if they can't figure this
And
out.
I'm okay with that because we might be able to scoop that spot
we
up.
just we have to get some points going on the
Yeah,
board here. I mean, these, like I said after the match, after the Arsenal match, the 6 points against City and Arsenal don't matter if we can't
if
get
we
3 points against Fulham, against Palace,
exactly
against these other teams. We have
West
those are
Ham,
the teams that are going to, because these are the teams we've been dropping points to all season that we need them now.
exactly.
We've beaten
They,
Chelsea, we've beaten Liverpool, we
yeah,
beat City, we beat Arsenal. Like, we have to be able to get 3 points against the Burnleys, against the
yeah,
Fulhams, against the
yeah.
Brightons, and all this nonsense.
And just like everything people are saying in the chat, this next game for us, Fulham, I guess we're doing a preview already, Sean. This next game, this Fulham match, and we've talked about it before. I said this last week when I said I'm not going to really worry about it till the Fulham match.
Yeah.
We play down to competition. We did it at the second match at the beginning of the season. We played looked great against Arsenal, and then we went to Craven Cottage and we played down to Fulham. And it took Bruno missed that penalty, heads dropped. We had to scramble to try to win. Okay,
Yeah.
and Fulham are on a tear. I mentioned this in the group chat. Fulham is starting to. They always figure things out with Marco Silva because Marco Silva knows how to coach. Okay, and he's Oscar Bottle.
I cannot hold on. I gotta have a little bit of a vent. How does Oscar motherfucking Bob get sold for almost 30 million? Like,
City Premium.
that's insane to me. Like this, like if people don't think that clubs are figuring out a way around PSR, like they're naive because there's no way whatsoever Oscar Bob.
Yeah.
That sounds like a food dish. Like that sounds like,
Doesn't it?
it just sounds like let me have the Oscar Bob. That does not sound like a person. There's no way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just saw that and it was like,
No, you're good. But this. So now, because I said this in the chat, I think Fulham are seventh right now, or eighth or something like that.
They're like seven.
They're starting to click. We have been going pretty well. We're playing at home. Can we use the momentum from beating City, from beating Arsenal, to come in with a plan? We're going to have possession. Fulham are going to come in and give us possession. Okay, it's going to be back and forth, things like that. So, can we take our chances? Can we set up defensively soundly? And can we utilize the momentum we have? We haven't done it before. Is this where the change starts? We've had so many false dawns. I don't think any of us really believe it. And let's see if this changes.
Fulham's going to be interesting. We're going to have to find that balance because they're going to sit back and make themselves. We're going to have to find the balance between sustaining numbers in their half without playing too high of a line because they will hit you long ball. They are like fourth for accurate long balls per 90. Harry Wilson is an absolute monster this season, so we'll have to keep some players back.
And you mentioned it they're going to sit back. They're going to make us go through them. We talked about it before. How do you, when the first option doesn't work, how do we get through that? We're going to have to go through that. We haven't had to do that yet. We're going to have off ball movement. This could be a big game for Cobby to ping some of those passes and get some of that movement going. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. We can't get down on counters with long balls, and
exactly
that would piss me off. I hate conceding goals like that. It's annoying. Yeah. Jarvis is trolling me in the chat. Big up Jarvis Bodo Glint, man, pulling out all the stops today against Atletico. Well done. Makes me bummer because I would have liked to have gone for Patrick Berg in the next 2 days, but I think he could have been an excellent Christian Eriksen-like signing for us in January, but I don't think that's going to happen now. But well done, Bodo. Let's see. Rayon. Is that the Rayon that we scouted at Vasco da Gama several months ago, Danny? Is that the one that went to Bournemouth? You guys remember I scouted him? But big up, Jarvis. Good to see you. Agile says, Harry Wilson can't score screamers every week. Well, he is. He's like 8 goals in the league and like 4 assists, so he's doing it. And you notice that Raul Jimenez isn't even like their tip of the spear. Raul Jimenez actually was the one who played the long ball to find Harry Wilson. I think it was against Liverpool when they did that. Wrapping up the Arsenal match before we jump into this Carrick stuff. Obviously some worldy goals in there. Dorgu's was an excellent goal. Cunha's. Which one was better? Dorgu or Cunha's goal?
So I'm going to say Dorgu's goal was better. You had the link up with Bruno. Bruno gets another assist, by the way. That's 10 in the league. Just saying.
Yeah, just saying.
But he's got to do the link up play with Bruno. He's then, when it comes up, he's got to control it, and then he's got to ping it one time. So it has the curve going away from the goalkeeper. And that might have been a little bit of luck. Who knows? But the fact that he gets that and then it goes in.
I call that perfectly placed, like shot and like perfect technique. It's difficult. Go ahead.
I was going to say the Cunha one was fun because, like Bexy says, pressure was on. Yeah. And he was just like, I got this, and pinged it in that corner.
Difficult, right? Oh. To me, it's like the build up and the strike versus the fact that Cunha's was the winner. Like,
Yeah.
and Cunha's was if you watch Cunha's like strike, it was an absolute worldy. Hold on a second. Let
100%.
me
That
find
was
it here.
such a nice goal.
I have another angle of it here. Let me bring it up here on the screen for everybody so we can all watch it again. Why not? Hold up. I'm going to bring it up here for you guys so we can all watch it again. How's that sound? You guys want to watch it again? I think
Yes.
you do. Oh, hold up. There we go. Got another angle here of it. So I'm going to bring this up. There we go.
Through turn, and then use the fact that he got that just past the defender to use kind of as a screen on the goalkeeper. Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Found him in space. We got out of a 3v6. And look at the curve he puts on that ball. I want to watch one more time.
Yeah. And
out of the space. Boom. That's filthy, man. Like, that's absolute filth from Cunha, dude.
When I saw him get the space, you're good. When I saw him get the space, because he does that whenever he gets space, he'll pop one towards the net. I'm like, he's going to go for that. And the only difference was on this one, the other ones, he's never had that good of an angle. He's always been farther off towards one side or the other. And he made it count.
He took up a perfect position. I mean, we were in a 3v6, and we happened to go out, and he find the way through that. Arsenal players were falling all over themselves to try to stop it. They were just literally just throwing themselves at these things to try to prevent us. And Cunha just knew where he needed to be. And like, normally I would have been like, you could have taken another couple touches, but he's just like, nope, fuck it. Raya was a little off-footed. He put it off right and just did it, man.
There's something about that too. When you can see a player do that once in a while, just say, fuck it, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
It's just like, do it, please.
And he's that player, man. He Cunha, when you watch him play, it's literally like he wakes up every morning and takes a huge dose of fuck it all. And it's like, I got this. Just 500 milligrams of fuck it all on it right now. Big glass of water, wash it down.
It's beautiful.
Big up Jarvis. What a couple of weeks. United beating City and Arsenal. Bodo beating City and Atletico. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Big up, man. We're all rooting for Bodo. We're all Bodo fans this year. Jarvis, big up, man. Some great goals in this fixture over the years. Where do these ones rank in some of your favorites? What is your favorite United goal against Arsenal? I know mine. Any guys get involved in the chat? Dylan, what's your favorite United goal against Arsenal?
Didn't we get that? Quote me. I don't remember exactly, but wasn't the Rooney to Van Persie one against Arsenal? Or am I misremembering that?
No, that was against Aston Villa. You're talking about the long range, the one or the
volley? Wrong with the volley. Oh, yeah, I thought that was Arsenal.
No, that was Villa. I think that was to complete his hat trick. Van Persie's against Villa too.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Trying to think. I haven't.
So you think mine? So these are great. Mine though is still Ronaldo's free kick from like 45 yards out.
That was.
Ooh, this is a good one too. This one's up there.
Big semifinal. Yep.
Yeah, that one's up there too.
Yep.
That Ronaldo free kick though was just
how dare I?
Insane, like insane. But these are up there. Yeah, the gigs, obviously the gigs, the FA Cup semifinal is definitely up there as well. Good shout. Big shout. I like that one. Ronaldo's just one of those goals you don't see very much of anymore. Those are like the goals you'd see like 20 years ago that you don't see him anymore. And I wish we could bring those back. But now guys like Pep and the Statos have ruined it because they say those are low percentage, man. Yeah, it was very similar to that. The reason I like the Arsenal one better is because it was a free kick. So there was like the keeper had all sorts of time to do whatever he needed to do, and he still couldn't do anything about it. The Porto one was, I think that was open play, wasn't it? Or maybe I'm thinking of the Portsmouth one. I get the Portsmouth one and the Porto one confused sometimes because they're very similar names, but also very similar goals. Rodell says the day we ended their 49 streak. Yeah, fuck them.
That's awesome.
Just was as cool as volley versus Barcelona was the one. And we're talking about goals against Arsenal. We're talking about the Arsenal match.
Excellent.
It was a free
shout out there.
Yeah. Ronaldo scored some absolute missiles back in his day. So, did you think of yours yet, Dylan? Or are you good to go?
No, I'm good. I don't
I'm
remember a lot of
good.
those goals because I didn't really start watching until like 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So
When you were a
like
teenager.
years, 2017, 2018. Yeah, because
Gotcha.
we didn't have the I couldn't watch it. I didn't have the channel, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So
Living
it's
out
just
living out in the boonies, man.
once they started to show them on Peacock and NBC,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Like here in
that's why I
America,
moved to the city.
we didn't get access to footy on cable until like the mid 2000s, if you were lucky.
Hmm.
Didn't get streaming services till like 2012 ish, and that was like the first year of like NBC Sports and stuff. So it was very difficult to watch footy here in the states for a very, very, very long time. Well, let's talk about Michael Carrick, you guys. We've been here for an hour. We talked about Arsenal, talk about some news. Let's talk about Michael Carrick because obviously I put a poll on the post in the community page asking the question of what would it take for you to give Michael Carrick the permanent Manchester United job? What would you need to see? What would he have to do? What would it take for you to choose to stick with Michael Carrick over even giving the job to someone like a Nagelsmann or an Enrique or a Thomas Tuchel? 21 people have voted so far, so go to the post page on the channel and let me know your thoughts. So we're going to talk about this. Yes, I do remember this on Fox Soccer Plus, all this kind of stuff. um, but yes, what would it take? So the options are, here's the options. Option one, he's already done enough. Hire him. Some people are literally already there. Option two is nothing. Nothing. There's nothing he can do. I want best in class. 38% so far have said he's got to win every game or get Champions League qualification for us to give him the job. And even 24%, so a quarter of the votes, have said that as long as he plays the United style of play and he finds ways to get results against these difficult sides like Fulham, that's enough for me. I've seen enough, basically. So that's where the poll is at so far. You guys go to the post section, open up a new tab. Don't leave the stream. That's rude. And go do it. But what would it take? Would it take Champions League football? Would it take an impressive run of wins? He did go on a crazy unbeaten run when he was at Borough when he first got there. Or maybe you agree with Roy Keane that he shouldn't get the job even if he wins every match, that we should be targeting best-in-class managers right away. We've tried the managers with the impressive CVs, with Mourinho's, with the Van Gaals before. However you want to look at that, the reasons behind why that didn't work out, the fact remains that didn't work out. Even a lot of these guys, like your Luis Enrique's and your Nagelsmans and whatnot, they're still unknowns in the Premier League. Tuchel is known, but Carrick is a known quantity, or at least by the end of the season, he'll be a known quantity. And if he gets Champions League or he impresses, goes on a run, then he's a successful known quantity. Like, right? Like, there's all these factors.
Mhm.
So these are the questions that were thrown out tonight. Dylan, where do you stand? What would it take for you to maybe give Carrick the job permanently?
So for me, I just want to touch on Roy just real quick with his comments towards Kerry.
That's his job.
Before I answer the question, yeah, I understand his critiques. I also get that it seems a little personal at this point. It seems like he's a
Yeah,
little miffed,
yeah.
and
Something
he's
something
just kind of
happens.
taking it out.
He ghosted him or
And
something
I'm
at
like,
some point.
dude,
I
you
mean,
gotta let it go. Yeah, you gotta let it go. I don't know if it's the thing that he became that kind of focal point in the defense after Keane left, and he's upset about that. That
he took
Carrick
his
did a
number, didn't
bang
he?
up job doing it. Yeah,
Maybe he took
yeah,
his
I
number.
believe
That's what
so.
he was upset about.
So it's just, I don't know, but I'm just like, dude, you gotta let it go, man. Now you just look like you look a little you old man yells at cloud a little bit.
He's
Um,
Rookie is
but
starting to give me this impression that he's been told that, like, hey, that's your stick as a pundit. So we're gonna lean very heavy in that. It seems because if you look anytime he's in a group, whether it's the overlap or when he's doing punditry, he's that guy in the group that acts like that. And it seems like he's been kind of told, like, yeah, go with that kind of a thing. You know what I'm saying? I get that feeling
and
sometimes.
yeah, I mean, his personality leans that way too, so it's not too hard for him to play that.
Yeah, he could start an argument
Um,
in an empty room, that guy, man.
yeah. Yeah, right. Um, the big thing for me, and Chinino 3179 is kind of laying out part of it for me anyway. We need to have wins, number one. Okay, we need to make sure we're going to beat the teams we're supposed to beat, and like Fulham, like West Ham, like Brighton, like we were talking about before. Okay, we have to do that.
Yeah.
Can't show up and just and say a draw is good. Draw's not good. We need to win those.
Mm.
That's what brings a team from decent to good.
Do you like managers who are willing to risk a loss if they try to go for the win?
If it's deserved, because there are sometimes they've been playing terrible, but they're close. Like they got lucky on a couple of freaky things. And you're like, just get the game over with. You guys have been playing terrible. I don't need you to go for the win and lose it like you're going to.
Yeah, but then I'd like to see him make changes that could maybe like bringing on Lacy or something as a way
Yes,
to like let's go
that
for it. Like,
so so that's the second point. I want to see him go for some of these, like when it's tight. Like we saw a little bit with the Arsenal one. He threw Cunha on. I would have liked subs a little bit sooner, but it worked out fine. Who am I? He won. Who am I to judge him on that? So make dynamic subs. You're not going to get it right every time.
yeah.
We understand that, but we need you to get it right at times where it's going to be beneficial. Like okay, like the
Are you
Cunha
willing? Are you willing for it not to work out though, as long as he's rolling the dice on some of this stuff?
Some of it, yeah, not all of
Yeah.
it. Some of it I want to see. I'd love to see the academy come through. I'd love to see Lacy get some time in, like to go for it too.
Yeah.
The big one for this part is besides the winning, besides having a little gumption to go for it, we need to see improvement with the team, and we need to make sure the team stays together.
Like
With
like
Amarin,
attitude, like morale. You mean?
yeah, attitude, morale. They
Mm.
understand what they're fighting for. Like with Amarin's team, it felt like they were walking on eggshells all the time. Ten Hag's team, they lost the plot. Carrick so far, and again, it could be new manager bounce. It seems like he's kind of gone in there and told them, right, this is the way it's going to go, and this is how you win. And I don't know if it's his presence being that calming presence that they're like, okay, we're going to do that, we're going to trust you, but they're buying in. So now we need, at least from what we can see, we need to see improvement with the players. Okay, we need to see uh, Cunha take a little more of a step. Mount stay healthy and take a step. We need to make sure that Lissandro keeps playing well. Okay, that they understand the tactical news. That Kobe can keep improving that he has over the
Yeah.
last few.
Dude, Kobe is like,
Yeah,
where did this Kobe Manu come from? Covers the most distance of any player these last couple
yeah,
matches. Just dropping deep, picking. He's
yeah,
playing like Frankie De Jong, like prime Frankie De Jong. Or he's playing like prime
and
Michael Carrick.
and I was gonna say, if there's one guy for Kobe to really look at and say I should model my game after, Michael Carrick's your
Yeah,
manager now.
guys, don't fall for it.
Yeah, that'll never
It's
happen. Don't
from
get our hopes up.
it was in for Kahe's, guys. Don't fall for it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know better than that. Team talk, caught offside for Kaye's. Don't listen to it, you guys.
So,
So Kobe, I mean,
yeah.
it's difficult to say like, oh, he's improved Kobe. Well, Kobe wasn't playing, so
Yeah.
literally anything is an improvement on not playing, right? But
Yeah.
I've said it after the Arsenal match that this Kobe that we've seen these last two matches alone, I'm not trying to be like he's world class. I'm just saying I've seen things from Kobe in these last couple matches that I haven't seen from him even when he was playing. There's physicality, and we already know he's got press resistance and whatnot, but he's shown, like I said, dropping deep, pick up the ball under pressure, getting its head up, scanning. That to me, that's a footballing, that's a playmaker. That's like, let's read the situation. I'm going to be the one to dictate what happened. I'm going to be the quarterback right now, not necessarily just to hoof it, but just decide what happens next. That is whether he's just being entrusted with that role under Carrick or whether he's taking that role on. That's something that I haven't. We know that he's got the press resistance. You know he's got the control and everything. That is more of a mentality thing now. Maybe it just takes empowering and trusting somebody. Maybe that's just good leadership from Carrick in that regard. I don't know, but there's something that I've seen
And
from Kobe these last couple matches that I want more of.
and I get the feeling that, and there's some comments about the Carrot going for it and this training's better, and I get that because there was so much emotion with Amarin's everything with his, like, not only his style but the press conferences and just the atmosphere of the whole team.
He started to derail.
Yeah,
He started getting full Mourinho there in these last
yeah,
couple pressers, man.
and we really tried to back him, but it got real hard there at the
Yeah.
end.
I'm willing to put up with crazy pressers if you're getting it done on the pitch, man. You can
Yeah,
do whatever you want in pressers. If you could show up naked for all I care. I don't really. If you're winning, I don't care
yeah,
what you do. Don't show up naked.
but 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 Carrick, you can just, and if any articles you read about him, he's got that calm presence, and I think that has steadied the ship here. Now,
Yeah.
I think the team appreciates that. Hopefully that continues. Hopefully he can keep getting the tune out of them. Hopefully he can keep helping them understand that what they have to do and the emotionality of the game. So,
And I said it. If you guys watched my Carrick tactical video that I did the other week, one of the things that all these Middlesbrough players would, I put up all these quotes from Middlesbrough players. The one word that was in pretty much everybody mentioned was calmness. As a coach, he brings calmness, simplicity, but not like watered down, like, oh, we're just going to do day one stuff, but he simplifies even the complicated things in a way that makes them easier for the players just to understand. He's got a way of explaining things that just gets through to players, which is a big difficulty for a lot of managers, conveying their vision, getting people to really understand what they want from him. It seems like, again, a lot of it probably does have to do with he plays the system that suits the players, but big up, Danny. Enjoy your time with the
Danny.
misses, my friend. Um, but yeah, so, and Red Devil says he's made changes in training as well. Chat Sports says there's been some terrible style of play from Premier League, slow possession, risk averse football. Yeah, and this is what happens to teams that, like, you're looking at Arsenal right now. Arteta's got them playing scared to lose. Amorim was scared. You and I were at Newcastle. We
Mhm.
were at Wolves. You and I felt and heard the grumbles in the crowd,
Yeah.
the displeasure from the fans. Like, they're not happy with that style of play, man. Um, yes, please do hit that like button, you guys, and let us know, get your thoughts on on Michael Carrick as we go along here, and whether or
And
not
that
you
and
would
that
keep him.
risk aversion, I think you've talked about, it seems like it's the Pep Guardiola Arteta form that's taken over the league. Like,
Yeah,
you don't want to. Football's not as exciting because you're not going to go for it,
yeah.
because you're just going to do what you got to do and then park the bus. And like
I
that's.
blame I blame data, man. Sometimes the stats can ruin football by just
Mhm.
making it boring. It's all about high percentage this, low
Yep.
risk this, and I'm
Well,
like, it's supposed to be the beautiful game, man. Like,
yeah.
I get it, but I'm like, when to get to the point where you're like, this is your X spot on the ground. This is where you can
Yeah.
stand in this situation. That's it. Like, I'm like, all right, well, I need to let the players express themselves, or else
Yeah.
they're just gonna, like, lose themselves.
Mhm.
Louis Van Gaal was comedy gold. Louis Van Gaal, man. Mike Smalling. Didn't he talk about S&M at some point? Like, a straight up weirdo.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Falling on the ground was hilarious too. That was
I
a good
love
one.
that one.
um, some of you guys voted for, it surprised me that, the 23% of you voted as long as he plays a united style, because he does play a very united style, or at
Mhm.
least he does in these two matches, right? Make yourself difficult to break down. 4-4-2 off the ball. When we win that ball back, it's boom, up the pitch, get it up there, get it quick interchange, finding those balls. We've seen that now a couple times. Um,
And
some
that,
people, go ahead.
I like that style. I really do.
Yeah.
And but how are we going to switch? Like we talked about with the phone. So how are we going to switch when we have the ball? How are we going to switch when we
Yeah.
have possession? I like the solidity we have with the defense, keeping those passing lanes tight. That's
Yep.
phenomenal. He's tightened that up. Great, because that's just going to help. That's going to build confidence. You can see that the defense is buzzing with him. You can see Maguire and the injuries back, getting people back from injuries has helped. But Maguire, Martinez are buying in. We know that Aiden Heaven could come in and do a job if he needed.
Yeah.
We know Delict can come in and do a job if needed. Yoro could come in and do a job as long as he's out of his funk. Like, we've got
Yeah.
players. Mizraoui can come in and play on that right side. We've got players that can do this.
Yeah.
And you can see the belief is starting to build back up a little bit. Will
I
it
think
continue?
I hope that maybe this could be a sign that, and maybe whether or not it's Carrick or not, I think we need to stop trying to adapt to the managers necessarily. Like, I get it to an extent, but what I'm getting at is, this United have a way that we like to play. We have a way that we've played through the years. We have a way that the fans want to see us play. We have a way that's in our DNA. Find managers who suit that. Find
Mm-hmm.
managers who play exciting, attacking, direct football, who make us difficult to break down, who have this siege mentality with the club, with journalists, with rivals, with on the pitch. Like, you come and try to get at us, and we're gonna hit you whenever you do. Like, try to find managers who play that way. Don't try to get the Louis Van Gaals or the Amorims even of the world and try to change the entire club culture to suit that necessarily. Like, we don't need to reinvent the wheel in terms of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something, and maybe that's a reason why it's just not worked. It's because it's just never felt right since
Yeah.
Fergie left, until Ollie, right? Um, but Carrick plays a United style. At least he has, like in these two matches, he played a United style. Some people thought maybe that Arsenal might have been a one-off, but or maybe City were a one-off. But then he went and did it again against Arsenal. He keeps things simple. He makes them effective. The question too, then, like we're talking about, would he change if situation dictated? So I found a quote here from him during his time at Middlesbrough. I want to get your thoughts on this because it sounds eerily similar to something we heard from Ruben Amorim. Michael Carrick says, "I'm not going to change the style of play because it's what I know and it's what I believe in. I wouldn't be a good manager, and when we wouldn't be good coaches if we suddenly went down a different route." So this is exactly the thing that people did not want to hear from Ruben Amorim. It would not even the Pope could make me change my style of play. Now, anybody can change their mind. I don't care if people change their mind in life. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. It doesn't make you a flip flop. It doesn't make you stupid or anything. It just makes you an intelligent human being when you're able to change your mind amidst new circumstances or new information. It is what it is. It's just how things go. But I wonder if people would start to get mad at him or start to call him out if he needed, maybe there were matches that showed we needed to do something different, but quotes like this might come back to haunt him if he doesn't change, and we lose matches, we drop points. Big up, Steph. Good to see you again in chat.
Hey, hey.
um Chinino says Sporting is not a very big club. It would be on Bournemouth level regarding club size and fan base. Benfica and Porto. Nice. Red Devil says Amorim believed he was the Pope. Well, Amorim definitely started to feel more like a Jose or a Pep later on.
Yeah.
But what I do like about Carrick is he has shown also a little bit of humility, because he also, about his time at Middlesbrough after he was sacked, also said this. He said, "It was a great experience. I learned an awful lot. I obviously made a lot of mistakes, but from that, I learned my strengths. There are things I've looked back and feel I could have done a better with certain things." So ready and willing to admit, looking back, I could have done differently on some things. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say the fact that he's already get teacher in me. He has the introspection, the ability to look at what happened and says, "This didn't go great. I can improve this later."
Yeah.
That's a big step. And I don't think we ever really got that necessarily with ETH. We didn't really get that feeling with Amarin. It felt kind of like they were constantly fighting to say that I know what's best. And Carrick to come out, and again, there's 2 games in. We do have to bump the brakes a little bit. Two matches in, and for him to say that and say, I made mistakes, but I can learn from those and be better. That's a big step.
Yeah.
That's somebody that's looked at themselves and said, I didn't do everything right the first time.
Well, this is after he got
So
sacked too, from
yeah,
Middlesbrough. Yeah, with Ten Hag, it felt like he definitely was like, "No, my way's best." With Amorim, I almost got the impression that Amorim was too afraid of looking wrong, that's why he didn't want to change it. I never got the sense with Amorim that he was
yeah,
like, "I know best." It always felt like, well, if I change, then people are going to still question me. I feel like he was a little
yeah.
less insecure with his age, a little bit. But yeah, I like that. Like you're saying, introspective is good. You should always be in life, whatever. Why you should always be assessing, reassessing, self-checking yourself a little bit. Like, how can I learn? Like, be able to receive feedback and take it, and not take it too serious, not like internalize it, not like take it too harshly or anything like that. But it's important. I think as a young manager, it's of the utmost importance. You have to be able to learn, because you don't start
Mhm.
managing when you're 40 years old and just knowing everything. You can have the way you think the game should be played the way you want to play, but you have to be able to learn. You have to be teachable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then maybe that has a lot to do with Amorim getting his internship under Jose. I don't know because he did. That's what he did. But Chat says it's early. Managers will look at Carrick's style and adjust to it if Carrick stays. Well, it's how do you adjust
Mm-hmm.
to trying to play down, figure out a low block, and at the same time try to defend. I mean, Carrick can maybe make changes. We'll see. It's up to him now. This Fulham game is going to be huge.
Yep.
Bexy says Carrick has been a 10. I honestly believe Steve Holland has so much experience as well. If he beats Fulham on Sunday, I think we go. If he beats Fulham on Sunday, we're gonna have a totally different kickabout next week because this I can't be held responsible for the kind of shit that goes down. Um, Stephanie says, tell the media as little as possible as an extra." Yeah, I was watching some clips today of the way Ferguson used to handle the media, and I wish we could get back to that. It boggles. I mean, I guess it doesn't boggle my mind. It infuriates me that Samuel Butthurst comes out ahead of the derby, releases the team news like 2 hours ahead of time, and says, "Oh, leaked team news. We'll see if this." And then he comes out over the weekend and he's like, "Oh, United are going to be doing an internal investigation about these team news leaks." And I'm like, that was you, bro. What are you talking about? Samuel Butthurst needs to literally be banned from every single press conference ever. Um, I have no problem with it. We need to get back to doing that kind of stuff. Again, like the channel names applies, it's United versus everybody, and that includes journalists who run their mouth about nonsense. Ferguson famously told them, like, your job is to tell the truth, and you tell lies. Like, and that's what we need to get back to, man. Just ban them all. I don't care. I'm so done with journalists talking absolute nonsense. Um, so style of play. Do you trust him with some transfer input if he were made um, permanent manager? So a little background. So at Middlesbrough, director of football Kieran Scott and Carrick kind of collaborated when it came to players that Carrick saw as part of his plans or player profiles that suit his style of play. He likes direct, creative attackers. He famously brought in guys like Tommy Conway, who I've scouted on the channel, Whitaker, for instance, etc. He got the best out of Chuba Akpom, who I absolutely loved at Middlesbrough. He was exiled to the under 21s back then by Wilder, but Carrick, when he brought Chuba Akpom back to the first team, he played to Chuba Akpom's strengths, so showing a little bit of adaptability. Carrick likes, and this maybe has a reason why maybe Shesko's not gotten starts. Carrick prefers strikers who are a little bit more mobile, a little bit more of the Rooney's kind of strikers that can combine with other players around them. He doesn't necessarily only want strikers who are like hold up players or like poachers necessarily. But he turned Chuba Akpom into the first player in the championship to score in 9 consecutive games. He was the top scorer in the 22-23 season as well. So he took Akpom from exile in the under 21s and got him the top scorer in the championship on a run of 9 consecutive goals scored. He likes midfielders, surprise, surprise, who can progress the ball and also show a little bit of control in midfield. He brought in Azaz and Morris as well. Azaz was amazing under Michael Carrick. He likes physical defenders, and he likes fullbacks who can get that ball up the pitch. He brought in guys like Ailing, for instance, who obviously are experienced as well. He poached Morgan Rogers from City's academy, and then Boro turned around and made like 8 times their profit on him when he joined Aston Villa in January 2024. He promoted Finn Azaz from the academy as well, so he's got an eye for talent as well. And they utilized the loan market pretty well at Boro too. They worked with a modest budget. They learned how to fill some gaps with young players that not only suited their style, but also were okay with the limited minutes, like what we might see from Lacy and whatnot. So with all that, like, how do you feel about Carrick kind of having an input as permanent manager when it comes to the transfer business and being consulted? Obviously, we don't know what that looks like under Ineos now. It's a big reason Amorim left. But do you like, with all that in mind, do you like what you like? Do you trust that?
I think you kind of have to give your manager at least some sort of input. They don't. He knows how he's going to want to play, and he'll have an eye based on what he watches, what he sees, different ideas about different players. But it's not. It's going to be up to everybody else. It's going to be up to the sporting director and everybody else to work with him to get players that are going to suit
Yeah.
suit that style. I'm I'm not sold on the fact that I think the direction that the club has with the sporting director and the group there is great.
No, no, it's not.
Um,
They're absolutely awful. Hence
yeah, yeah.
that.
So I think that might shoot him in the foot more so than anything else.
Mm.
But,
Well, I think that I like if you look at the way he plays, and if you look at the types of players he brought in at Borough or promoted at Borough, it is very united. It is very direct on the wings, a little Rooney esque, like Van Nistelrooy esque kind of strikers up front, someone who's can get involved in the build up and whatnot. Um, Midfielders who, like again, like the Andersons, like the Whartons, that kind of midfielders are the ones he's looking for. Morgan Rogers, again, a very direct, mobile number 10 kind of role, which I think Cunha suits to a T as well.
and I hear he's got some inside information on a midfielder from Middlesbrough that could be somebody.
Yeah, of course. I saw all those. I knew those
Yeah,
links were going to pop up as soon as he
yeah.
came in, and it's literally I like any of the articles that popped up in the last week about Hayden Hackney were literally just people reminding us that we've been linked to Hayden Hackney in the past. It's some of the laziest journalism I've ever
Mhm.
seen, man. It's you see it with everyone. When Ronald Koeman went to Barcelona, he was immediately they were already getting linked with every Dutch player under the sun and whatnot. It's just so lazy. I'm not calling out you. It's just
No,
this.
you're good.
You
I
guys,
like to throw that in there.
no, you're good. There's a reason I don't talk about every single little bit of transfer news that pops up on the timeline because a lot of it is just absolute bollocks. Hence Diogo Dallo to Atletico Madrid. If you believe things you read in Fikajes, don't come crying to me when it doesn't happen and you get all butthurt about it because Fikajes is nonsense. So he's got an eye for talent. I wonder how he would do with because Middlesbrough is not united. So it's all well and good to be like, yeah, Tommy Conway, yeah, Finn is as, but that's like that was my big criticism of Ten Hag. Like your talent identification needs to level up a little bit there, bud, because
Yeah.
Anthony ain't cutting it. Tyrell Malacia not cutting it. It's just not good enough. Um, so I think that we could do better. Chanino says Amorim actually thought he could wield power on par with Ten Hag, forgetting that Ten Hag had technical director manager roles. Well, yeah, and it's different ownership now, and that was the big
Mhm.
difference. I think people, I'm not saying you, Chanino, but I think people are forgetting that it's completely different ownership than it used to be, and so I think we're so used to seeing just whatever happens happens, and now we're like, oh wait, this is how actually clubs are run. Except like I agree with you, our structure in EOS are not fit for purpose. If you want to see some of my picks to replace Jason Wilcox as director of football, there's a link in the description below. When you're done here, you can go check out that video. What about so we talk about maybe raising your game tactically, maybe raising your game talent identification. What about raising your game in Champions League football? Because most people are saying that if you get Champions League qualification, then they would give him the job. 41% of you said that. But do you think Michael Carrick could handle Champions League football, managing in the Champions League? Um,
Mentality wise, I don't see him having a problem just because he's got the experience playing in Europe. He knows what to expect. He knows the stage.
yeah,
The issue would be how much is that? It's going to change for you being the manager and how you're going because you're not out there. You can't
yeah,
influence the game that way. So can he adapt? The question is going to be: have you seen enough where you can say he's adapted his game to adjust to the different circumstances that we're going to see against your Bayern Munich's and your Atletico
yeah,
Madrid's, and then your other teams like Kairat
yeah.
and Karabakh. Like, will he
Well, yeah,
adjust enough? Will he play the youth in those matches? It's like what's going to happen. So
because it's no longer like Coventry or West Brom or something. This is like these are the PSGs, these are the Bayern Munichs, these are the people that are winning Champions League, the Inter Milans and stuff like these are the big
mhm.
dogs now. You can't, trust guys like, no offense, but like Tommy Conway to come in and do a job. Like you can get it done. Like Chuba Abcom is not winning you the Champions League. I'm sorry. He has shown Carrick that he can take on some big teams and experienced coaches. He's got points against Tuchel, against Arteta, against Pep as well as manager. Remember, he was here interim before. He beat Arsenal. I think he beat who else? We beat Villarreal as well. So he did win in Europe in the Europa League as well. Um, Recently, obviously beat Arteta again and Pep. So he has shown that he can take on the big managers and get it
And
done.
and he's got some experience in knockout competition. He had Boro go on that semifinal run in the
Yeah.
League Cup a couple years ago.
Yeah, beat Spurs and beat Chelsea. Now
Yep.
they did. It was
Yep.
two legs, so he did beat him in one leg. It did. They did lose the
Yep.
second leg, but he did craft some results against some of these big teams.
Yeah.
But again, it's going to be for me. It's I'm not. It's going to be again the Fulhams, the Forests, the West Hams. These teams. They are going to be difficult to break down, and that's where we're going to see what Carrick has learned. If he says he's learned and he's learned from his mistakes, that's where we're going to see
Mhm.
how he's grown because he is still young as a coach as well. Um, People are throwing out, what about the Ollie argument? How do you feel about this? Well, we've been down this road again with Ollie where we had him as interim and we made him permanent, and look how that happened. Where do you stand on that?
Ole Ole seemed like a manager for me of he knew what the club meant. He knew he was more like Sir Alex in the way that he tried to man manage everything, but his tactical understanding seemed to be a little more lacking. And I think the players looked at that and said, when he would say or try to do things with in-game adjustments, I don't think the players trusted Ollie as much. And I think with Carrick, since he was running, there's still guys that were there when he was there as assistant manager. They understand that he's run practice in the past. He's got a little more with the tactical understanding. I think they'll trust him a little more um, in that regard. And so
Until they don't,
that
right? I
makes it a
think that's
little
the
different.
issue with. I think that
Yeah,
was the issue with Ollie
exactly.
is like they trusted him until they didn't. Until they looked to Ollie to get them out of these tricky situations, and he didn't really seem to have an answer. Then it did feel like they kind of gave up on him. That Watford game was difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And that can happen with any manager. The players need to look to you to figure it out. And then when you can't manage, because it is a verb, it's not a manager like Liam Rowe Senior likes to say. Manage is a verb. um, so he's got to figure that out. I mean, I hear the argument. I think I always come back to the fact of this is different ownership as well. That was a completely different ownership model.
Mhm.
But hey, where is the line between letting past mistakes steer you away from these decisions versus not letting past mistakes steer you away from decision? At what point are you too scared of making a mistake that you maybe run away from the right decision? Like, can past mistakes have too big of an influence on this stuff? It's difficult questions to
Oh
ask.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I I'm still hesitant to for me anyway to say yeah, give it to him. I I wouldn't be as hesitant if he were to say get us into Europe or go on a tear and finish like second or third even. Like I would be all right,
Hmm.
let's have a conversation. Again, I've always said it's even if that were the case, I'm not full Roy Keane where I'm just like no, never, but I can't there's a huge Ineos shaped elephant in the room when it comes to that situation and I can't let Ineos get away with that easy decision. Like they don't look like they know what they're doing. It seems like if Carrot goes on a run, it seems like that's something that just fell into their lap, and they're just like, "All right, well, we'll just go with that then." And I don't like that. I don't like that you have no plan whatsoever. I didn't have a plan as it was when you sacked Amorim, and just if you got to the end of the season and then gave it to Carrick, that tells me that you didn't talk to anybody, or that tells me you were talking to people and now you have got to say no to him. Like, and who are you talking to at that point? That Carrick would be the one that wins out in that conversation. It's very difficult for me still. And someone said it. Where is it at? Bexy says it's really a case of looking at it from the last game of the season. Yeah, it may be a case where I might not have a feeling about it till the season's done and dusted. I don't
Hmm.
know. Steph, I think that's Christopher Vavell is the chief scout. Correct? Someone correct
He's
me if I'm
chief of
wrong.
scouting. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Um, So he says the good thing with beating City and Arsenal is that teams will fear us a bit more. Hopefully, well, teams that play open and a high line and go on the front foot will fear us. Again, it's these Fulhams. This weekend is going to be a big test
Yep.
because we're not going to
And
have
then,
space to play these
yeah.
counterattacks. It's going to be like the Europa League final all over
Yeah.
again.
Guys, Marco Silva knows how to set Fulham up. He's been there for so long now. He just, he always gets those. He's kind of like, I forget which team always hits a rut and then turns it on halfway through. Like they hit a rut, they
City,
kind of look. City, but not. It's one of the other mid team. I can't remember off the top of my head. They hit
Like
a run. They
Brentford.
look like
Brentford
shit.
had done that recently, huh?
Yeah, yeah. They look like shit, and then all of a sudden, bam! They figure it out, and then they start doing well again. The Fulham are
Yeah.
in that mode where they're doing well again.
Yeah.
They're getting results, things like
And
that.
I'll talk about that a little bit more in my preview. But Marco Silva has a knack for subtly changing things based on the opposition. So
Hmm.
the way Fulham play at its core is, yes, difficult to break down, counterattack, but some of this different ways, some of the different elements are going to change depending on who he's playing, which can be good or bad depending on how you look at it. Genio is a bit harsh, in my opinion, on Ollie. Ollie doesn't spend money. Managers don't spend money. This ain't FC 26. Managers don't decide player wages, player transfer fees, player contracts. Managers don't do that. And if you know a lot about Cardiff, the owners pretty much ran that club. The owners basically told managers who to play. Cardiff were basically relegated when Ollie came into that club, and there was literally nothing that could be done at that point. And I think it's harsh personally, but I whether or not he's I think Ollie there's a job out there for Ollie. I don't know what it is. I think he could go take the England job, for instance. I think you do very well. Things like that. So that we got 23 likes, 34 watching. Big up everybody. Make sure
Woo.
you're liking, make sure you're subscribing if you guys are new. We're on the road to 3K. We'd love to see it get to 3K. Um, Bexy's got a good point. Ineos do have some competence. Recruitment overall hasn't been bad. No, the recruitment's been fine. I think we've signed a lot of really good players. I think Ugarte is kind of the one that stands out to me personally, but it's more every single the structural decisions they've made have not been great with Ashworth, Ten Hag, now Amorim and his staff as well. And then a lot of the very public decisions that are really really bad from an optics standpoint have really not been great. Now you guys know I've defended Ineos in regards that like they inherited this problem. They're trying to fix a mess that they didn't create. In like the bloated, we had a really overstaffed workforce.
Hmm.
But I did criticize them for their first like solution being fire people. Like that to me is not worthy of a salary in the hundreds of thousands of pounds like a year. Like that's your first decision is just fire. Like that doesn't to me does not show good enough decision making. But but yeah, it's interesting. Did you see the poll, Dylan? Did you vote at all?
I didn't get to vote in that one. No.
So far, 41% still say okay if he wins every game or he gets qualified for Champions League, then that would be enough. 27% say nothing. They still want the best in class managers out there. So that's second. Third is if he plays the way United play and he finds a way to adapt to these sides like Fulham, then that's enough. And 9% say he's already done enough. I I'm in the camp of if he goes on a winning run and we get Champions League, we can have it. He deserves this is where I'm at. He deserves based on some of this what we've seen, he deserves that this should be his audition. He deserves to be
Hmm.
considered for it at least, right? This should be counted in my opinion as his audition for the job. And if he does a good enough job, then we can have another conversation. But again, at the end of the day, is if he goes in a winning run and gets a Champions League, would you still take him over a Luis Enrique or a Nagelsmann or a Tuchel? That's the kind of question that people are going to have to answer. Carrick could come in here and like just be the guy who becomes the guy. You never know. Like he could
Hmm.
be that guy. But he deserves a chance to show it. I guess. Again, I'm still going to have a hard time reconciling that with this feeling of letting Ineos off the hook personally, but that's on me. I mean, not everyone's going to feel that way. What about you? Where, if you ask right now, what would your answer be?
He needs to. Well, I'd like to see the style of United play. I like the way that he's set up so far. But the bigger thing was, for me, are kind of like we're talking about. Are we getting the points against the lower level opposition that we need to? And does it seem like the club is moving forward, or does when we lose a game, because we're going to lose a game, it's going to happen. That's the way everything goes. If we lose a game and then the team just deflates again and he can't get it back going, like
Yeah,
is that what does he do? Like the first, does he just put his head down and say, "Ah, it's fine," or does it? What's he going to try to do to move past it? If he can figure that out and the team gets back going again, he's got my vote.
I can't help but remember some of the stuff that Darren Fletcher said after the FA Cup match and stuff about the players and whatnot. And again, the players can't get let off the hook either because we've
Hmm.
seen a lot of that stuff from the players over the years under different managers as well. So if you can't figure it out, will the players just start to give up like they did under Fletcher, like they did under Amorim, like they did under Ollie, like under Ten Hag? Like that's a factor that has to be considered as well because there's only so much you can do if the players just aren't up for it.
Hmm.
I like to look at the way we've been playing and like to think these players they have been up for it. If it's just a new manager bounce or not, I don't know, but I'm always a little frustrated with players after managers sack and they turn around and play like this because I'm like, where was this 2 weeks ago?
Well,
Like that shit annoys me.
we did that when they sacked Ollie.
Yeah,
They went and turned out. I think we beat Chelsea that next weekend
yeah, it's super
or whatever
frustrating
it
to
was.
me.
It
I
was
get I get super annoyed with that shit.
yeah,
Um, it's obviously in an ideal world, it would all work out, but Steph says senior players like Bruno, Cass, McGuire, Key. Oh, dude, Cass had a freaking phenomenal match against
yeah,
Arsenal, man.
yeah.
There was one situation where he moved quicker than I've ever seen him move in a United shirt. It was early on where Saka was dribbling into the box and little heavy touch, and Casemiro came out of nowhere
Mhm.
and just kind of shielded it and just let it run out for a goal
Yep.
kick. And I'm like, where did you come from, dude? You was the quickest I've ever seen you move in my life. It was like a glitch in FC 26 if you guys play and like the defenders somehow just get to you. Chinino says Zaha Fabio at sea were loaned to Ollie that season at Cardiff. Also, the hiatus after he lost the United job was worrying while the rest of his coaching staff, like Carrick and McKenna, grow. Well, most managers, when they get sacked, don't immediately get another job. Like Mourinho wasn't managing for a while. Poch, Tuchel, most of these guys just they chill because they get to a point where they. Ollie, I think, has got to the point where he's wants to pick his next job, and he went to Besiktas, started off pretty decently, and then it kind of went tits up a little bit. Yeah, he'll be back managing another club. I'm not too worried. I don't get upset when managers get sacked. They get paid a lot of money. It's the easiest job in the world as far as I'm concerned. You don't have to be good at all, and you're going to get paid a lot of money just to get when you get fired. Like that's like sign me up, man. I wasted a lot of money on a master's degree. If I could have gone and just done that, man, shoot. um, but but it's interesting. I don't know if it's a conversation like Bexy said that's going to be able to be answered right away, but it is something worth talking about. It seems like a lot of people are pretty mixed on their feelings about it, which is good. It shows that there's still questions to be answered, and maybe some of those questions won't be answered for a while. And so, I think you just enjoy the ride. If we can continue getting results, we keep playing like we've been playing, then I don't think anyone's going to complain. There will still be people who will say, "No, I want the Enriques and whatnot." That only works if those guys are available. But I hear all sides of it. But it would be there's you can't have football without a little bit of romance, right? And there would be some little romantic about Michael Carrick coming back and
Hmm.
getting us in the Champions League and stuff. So, um, but we will see. But that is going to do it for us tonight, you guys. It was a really good chat tonight. I felt like. Do you agree?
I This was a very good chat. We got a lot of group participation here,
Yeah,
and a lot of good points. Like a lot of good things brought up.
yeah,
Information, a fun fact about Wigan. That
yeah.
was so a
Hats
lot
off
of
to
good
you guys.
stuff. Yeah.
So, but it was a good conversation. You guys keep getting involved in that poll. It is in the post portion of the community. Please make sure like, subscribe. Make sure you share, please. Make sure you hype some of the older photos or the older videos on your phones as well. Go check out some of all the exclusive videos. They are in the description. And check out the United vs. Everybody store. There are a couple of items below the video player. There is always a link in the description as well. The United vs. Everybody store is one of a kind gear. Does not support the club in terms of financially. It does support the channel, but it's not very expensive. So check that out. And then also check out the memberships as well. This is the best way to get involved in the content that we put out on the channel, you guys. It is more than just emojis and badges. You can get involved in scouting reports, what if episode ideas. There's a WhatsApp group because just because the stream ends doesn't mean the conversation has to. So starting 11 and Legends members get access to the WhatsApp group, and Legends members can actually join in virtually on the Kickabout every week when we do this. And so always nice to see you guys get involved in the chats and whatnot. If you don't want to buy anything, you don't want to commit to memberships, that's fine. You can always, if you want to contribute to the channel and don't know how, there's always super chats. There's always super thanks when the videos are over. There's tons of ways to support the channel any way you want to. But as always, the best way is just to get involved in the chat and like and subscribe. Chat says Pot should be good. Poch is a phenomenon, man. He's got an excellent win percentage at all these clubs, but his mentality is just not a winning mentality for me. Guy doesn't think he thinks trophies are for egos, so it's just weird. He doesn't excite me. I'll say that. Um, are you Poch? Yeah, or nay?
I was before. The PS. I thought he'd do better at PSG.
Yeah,
And I think that one kind of sold me like this might not be for him because he really
yeah.
couldn't handle the mentalities as well.
Couldn't handle
So,
Chelsea. That club's a shit
mhm.
show though. We'll end on this one. Chinino says, I like Carrick a lot. Amorim has made fans realize what they don't want to see in the touchline, squatting and holding heads. Yeah. Amorim, he definitely started to get a little nervous, but it is what it is. He's gone. I don't like kicking a guy when he's gone. So, but thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back later on this week with a preview of the Fulham match as well. If we get another big result, I can't guarantee you I'll go do another Snow Angel because it is very cold, but you never know. The Arsenal was a one-off. Go check out the shorts of the channel if you guys want to see me do a Snow Angel when we beat Arsenal. So thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate all the likes, all the chat, all the input as always. Dylan, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Have a good night, everybody. Great show tonight. Always appreciate interacting with the chat and the community. So have a good one, all.
Take it easy, guys. Stay warm, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.